Hey everyone, it's Jenny, Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House, and welcome to our house. Wish you were here in person. So I just wanted to show you what I've been working on, just to kind of do a little stress relief and craft in the meanwhile. And I hope you'll follow us on our YouTube channel, Joey143Jenny. We would love it if you would subscribe to our channel. We're trying to work out the kinks. I'm hoping that this video displays and orients the right way. So what happened is yesterday I was taking down my 2022 calendars. I have one in our mud room as you come in the back door, just as a reference. And then I have one on the refrigerator and one in the office. And so taking them down, this one, I just thought it's such a nice little size, and I really liked it. And the paper is nice and thick, and I thought, oh, what can I do with that? Of course, a crafter thinks, what can you do with it? Especially if you love paper. And I was thinking about one of my inspirational YouTubers. Both of us love to junk journal and do other things, and that's Gayle Augustinelli, and she has a scrap journal. And basically what she does is every month she puts a 9 square, so it'd be kind of like this, a 9 square of scraps that represent that month for her. So maybe it was a project she worked on, a journal. She does a lot of mixed media things, and so maybe it was some jelly prints or fabrics or some digital prints, digi kits that she made, what have you. But she keeps a journal like that, and I don't have one like that, but I thought this would be a fun way to cover up last year. And you could also just get an inexpensive calendar and do it for this year if you wanted to, and kind of do like what she does, which is a scrap journal based off of your projects. Anyways, I started it yesterday because I had been on the phone for quite a bit yesterday doing some business types of things, and you know how stressful that can be, being on hold and being transferred, and having to tell every person you talk to the same story. So I thought, oh my goodness, instead of sitting in front of the TV and decompressing, I came in here and just started on this. And so basically what I did was I just took some scraps that I had and just put them in the square. They're not exact size. This is about, in this particular calendar, this is about 1 3/8 by 1.5. And so I just took some scraps. This one here and here and here is just literally a doily that I put on the copier and made a copy of it and then use it as scraps. I've used it in journals as well. I did the same thing with these. This is a vintage pot holder, and I don't know if you can see, there's some hand stitching here on the pot holder, which is really fun. And then this is again another doily that was embroidered that I put on the copier and made a copy. These sweet little girls are out of a vintage sewing book that I have, that I've used in other journals with a sewing theme or what have you, or a fabric theme. And so they were part of the scraps, and I thought they looked cute there. These are digital prints that my granddaughters and I, over Christmas, I got this off of Etsy, and it's a paint by number digital. And basically what we did is we cut it into little squares and decoupaged it onto just some tiny little canvases. I think I got them at the dollar store, $1.25 store. And then we made ornaments out of them, super cute. And then these are out of just a garden book, magazines. So I thought I would show you, and we'd work on it a little bit. I do have some scraps here that I got from a book that I purchased at the dollar store back when it was just $1. And I loved this book so much. I purchased it specifically to make journals. I literally made 10 journals out of this book and absolutely loved it. It had so many sweet little handmade things on it. I felt bad for the contributors that did this and then to find it in a dollar store, but if you were one of the contributors, if you recognize your art here, just know that it's not all in vain, that I am using every single snippet of your book to really just energize any project I have. So I thought I might use some of this to put in some squares. I also have my Harry and David catalog somehow got sent to me. And so what I've done is I've just tore out some different snips. And I think I'm going to tear out, I love, another part of the therapeutic part is the tearing. I love it. So I'm going to just tear out, you know, some of this here, because I think that would be sweet as well. And, you know, just kind of keep a pile so I can go through here and look. And this is just what I do, is I save some of these things and, you know, just use them. And I do keep a lot of it categorized. I do have a little system of categorizing by size. I'll categorize by, you know, like Christmas all goes into one thing, and, you know, try to keep myself organized. Doesn't always work. These are all fun right here. Doesn't always work, but I can pretty much find what I'm looking for. And if I don't find exactly what I'm looking for, the fun part is I usually locate something that I forgot I had. All right, so anyway, so I could go through here and pull out all kinds of stuff. Another thing that I do is I subscribe to our conservation magazine. It's a free magazine, and whatever state you live in, if you just go to your conservation department's website, like this one, I just went to Missouri Conservationist, and you would not believe the great resources. I've purchased books there. You can purchase books for native birds. You can purchase books, like I purchased one for mushrooms for my husband, that, you know, for Joey when he mushroom hunts. And then you can sign up for these free magazines, and they're fantastic. I get so many ideas and pictures out of this. Then there's also one that you can sign up for children, and it's a free magazine, and they are top-notch quality. They're super thick, really great quality. They tell all about, you know, your area and conservation. Look at these amazing pictures. I read these or look through them cover to cover. I sometimes will tear out an article if I think it applies to someone I know and share it with them. This is really fun because they'll also put order forms that are specific to the seeds and the things that are, you know, native to your area for you to plant. And I just love it. And sometimes, like, there was one article that showed all the different kinds of poison, like ivies and trees and different things, and they had very vivid pictures, and they identified them, and then they had a graph that showed where they mostly grow, how to tend, you know, to eradicate them, etc. I cut that out and I put it in our mud room. We have a closet cupboard thing in there. I put it in there with the bug spray, just so that when we get ready to go in the back and march around, that we can have a fresh look at what, you know, could be out there. And it's been very helpful. So anyways, you can see this has very vivid, beautiful pictures. And I probably won't be getting into any of these today because I have to detach from them for a little while before I can cut them up. And I haven't detached from this group yet. But I did find some other little things. What's this one? Let's see what this is. Oh, this is a magazine that comes from, or a little periodical that comes from our electric co-op. And this one I don't have any trouble detaching from. It does have really good articles, but it's not like a keepsake type of, you know, magazine or anything. But once in a while, because it does feature local artists in the co-op, it'll have some, like this, really cool pictures. And I love to read about the local, you know, all of the local things, the different businesses, the trades, and things like that. So anyways, so this is another one that I'll tear in. And I get, like, my mom, whatever magazines she's done with, she'll give to me. So, I mean, I'm never at a want for, you know, magazines. And I'll look at them over and over and tear out and everything. So, anyway, so that's what I'm doing, is I'm just doing a little bit of decompressing right now. We have our Christmas with my family, my girls and son-in-law and our grandchildren tomorrow. So I've been preparing and doing things like that. And right now I'm taking just a little break. And so I thought I would come in and, you know, just continue on with this. Do a little video. Hopefully this video is going to orientate the right way. Ugh, what a mess that's been. Finally think I figured it out. So let me grab my glue page here. I'm just going to use my glue stick again to glue this down. Anyways, yeah, so tomorrow is our Christmas, and so today I am prepping, cooking. I always make homemade cinnamon rolls. I quote unquote homemade cinnamon rolls. They have evolved over the years. I used to absolutely make them homemade. I'd you know, let them rise overnight and all of that, and they were delish. But golly, man, get up so early in the morning to get things going with it, and then you know, roll out the dough and then make the cinnamon rolls, then you let them rise again, and wow, it was just so much. And so then I started to use the Rhodes, let's see, it's the loaves. I don't know if you've ever used that, but Rhodes, R-H-O-D-E-S. They have the loaves of bread, and they also have, well, they make cinnamon rolls. They're not as good as when you make them yourself, but they're definitely good in a pinch. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to jiggle. Especially when I like to use those is if I make chili, and you can use those for your dessert. So good. Anyways, and then they also make dinner rolls. So the only thing you have to remember is to make sure to let it rise. You still have to let those rise. The only thing is you don't have to mix everything and you know, all of that. It's already, that part is already done. So yeah, so what's going on now is I am going to, those are out on the counter. They're defrosting a little bit because they come frozen. So they're defrosting a little bit. And then what I'll do is this evening, once they're pliable, I'll roll those out into, you know, like a pizza dough almost. And then I'll put my special cinnamon filling in that I make. One day maybe I'll show you and tell you about that. And then I'll roll it up, and then I'll cut it. I use the thread method of cutting, where you just tie thread around it so you don't squish it up. And then those will rise, and then I'll cook them, and they'll be super nice and fresh and yummy in the morning. And I used to make homemade icing to put over it, but I don't do that anymore either. I use a white icing in a can. You could use like a vanilla, but I have found that the white icing is really a lot truer to what you would get when you have cinnamon rolls. So okay, so I'm doing that. And then also I am working on a couple of other desserts. I already have one. I have a coffee cake. already in the fridge to be ready to bake in the morning. And then, what else? Oh, I'm going to do a dump cake. You can't go wrong with the dump cake. And so I'm going to do a cherry pineapple dump cake. And then we're also going to, and then on Christmas, what we normally do is we just do hors d'oeuvres. And so I'll be working on when I say hors d'oeuvres, more like appetizers. So I think one is, seems a little bit classy, like more than a few ingredients. And whereas like finger foods are, like little sandwiches and cheese and crackers and things like that. And so I'll be prepping all of that, cutting veggies and stuff like that today. So right now I'm just taking this little break, and then after I prep some cooking, I'll get the floors done, and then I will, my plan is to set up all of the stockings. We don't have a fireplace, and I don't mantle the stockings anywhere. What I do is I stack them on the ground and, layer them on the ground by family. And then, so I'll get those all set up, and the kids are all used to that. And, gosh, that's probably going to be it. It's only going to take me a few hours to accomplish that. And so then on to dinner, on to laundry, on to the rest of it. It is the wonderful life of retirement. So I'm very grateful for that. Okay. So we're getting there. So I hope this will be a project that you could enjoy. I'll tell you another thing. Kids will love this project. Especially if you have a rainy day or you're snowed in or what have you, or you just have a child that's restless and just needs to settle down a little bit but wants to do some things. You could actually tear out the squares for them and give them a glue stick and just have them go to town with it. When my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, who now is 14, if you can believe that, oh, where does time go? When she was a little girl, I was blessed to be able to have Mondays off. And so I would watch her on Mondays. And she was, I don't even know how to explain it. She was an active little girl. I don't know. She just liked to be doing. She reminds me of me. I just like to do. I like to do stuff. And so it wasn't always just playing. She just wanted to do some things. And so I had read one time where if children are frustrated, little ones that don't know how to express themselves, if they're frustrated, if you give them some paper to tear up, and I would just use like those coupons that come in the mail. I used those and let her tear them up, and we put them in an empty Kleenex box. And we would fill that Kleenex box up with all of those all of those paper scraps. And then at the end, which that took a long time, a little one, it takes a long time for them to do that. So it keeps them busy and they enjoy it. And then at the end was super fun. She would lay on the floor and I would sprinkle all of those paper scraps over her like confetti or snow. And she would just love that. Then she'd pick them all up and she'd put them back in the Kleenex box. And we'd start all over. And until nap time, that was like an after lunch activity. So anyways, yeah, paper scraps can be a lot of fun for kids too. Not just adults, but kids too. So all right, well, I'm going to finish this up and move on to February probably, and maybe I'll show you progress in a couple of days or next week sometime on what I've come up with on my break times. So I hope everybody has a really great day. I hope you find a way to decompress. If you're at work, I say let your boss know that I said it was okay to take your calendar and tear up scraps and glue while you're on those conference calls. Enjoy your day, and thank you so much for supporting us. So if you haven't already, on the YouTube channel, Joey143 Jenny, go in and subscribe, and if you would hit that bell so you're notified when we have a new video up. And I would love you to leave a comment. What do you think about this project? What ideas do you have? Just like Gayle inspired me, does this inspire you to do something only different? I would love to hear about that. Anyways, wish you were here in person. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.